Yes, dear students of 10th standard, so far we have discussed three lessons: atoms and molecules, periodic classification of elements, and solution. Now we are learning about types of chemical reaction, Unit 10, which is a chemistry part of your science book, and one test conducted on atoms and molecules. Again, coming Sunday, you will have one more test, Unit 8, periodic classification of elements. Sunday you will have test morning 8 to 9 a.m. and periodic classification of elements. So prepare well and also get ready with your device. Don't give reasons, and you have to check yourself whether you are in right path of learning process, and prepare all the objectives in the textbook evaluation. Also inside the lesson, go through. Only 25 questions are given, and 25 minutes enough because all are multiple choice questions. So 25 minutes enough, but I am giving more than an hour, 1 hour. So no need to go for extra time. So 1 hour is enough extra time to finish the test. So complete the test within the given allotted time, 8 to 9. And all should try the test. All should go and involve yourself to test yourself, and don't give reasons. Most of the boys are writing test except a few. So those boys also come and involve in the process of learning and test yourself whether you are in correct path of learning process, whether you are understanding lesson or not. Now in the types of chemical reaction, already we discussed that chemical reaction involves breaking of old chemical bonds and formation of new chemical bonds. So chemistry means chemical reaction. So without chemical reaction, there is no chemistry. So many examples were already given. So for our physical activities, we need energy. So the energy is obtained from the digestion of food what we eat. Similarly, plants grow and get their food because of the process of photosynthesis. It is a chemical reaction. And also, how does a car move using a fuel? Because of the combustion of fuel. The combustion of fuel and the vehicle's internal combustion engine is there. The internal combustion engine, the petrol or diesel combined with oxygen burn, and energy is obtained. That energy is used for the running of vehicle. Similarly, iron rusting also a process of oxidation. That is a type of oxidation. It is also a chemical reaction, and so many chemical reactions are taking place in and around us. And also, what happens during the chemical reaction? You have to know there are three important things are taking place. That is, the reacting atoms are rearranged to form a new molecule, and old bonds are broken, new bonds are formed. Thirdly, during the bond breaking, energy is absorbed, whereas during the new bond formation, energy is released. And usually we used to write the chemical reaction using the word equation. So this is the lengthiest way of writing the chemical reactions. We have to use the name and write the reaction. That is called a word equation. But you are in a 10th standard, so when you are going higher and higher, you have to learn how to write the chemical reaction using symbols and formula. So you have to use chemical formulas to write a chemical reaction. So to write chemical reaction using chemical formula, you should know the name of reactants and the name of products, and also you should know their molecular formula. So molecular formula is very very important to write chemical reaction. So without knowing a molecular formula, you cannot write chemical reaction. So these molecular formulas can be learned only by regular practice. So you have to write and practice. By regular practice only this can be achieved. So what is called reactants? So in a chemical reaction there are two parts. That is a left hand side part, a right hand side part. That is a left hand side to the arrow mark, right hand side to the arrow mark. The left hand side, the elements or compounds are called reactants because these are the substances taking part in a chemical reaction. So already have learned in 9th standard, 8th standard also, the substances or the compounds or the elements which take part in chemical reactions are called reactant. Similarly, the new substances formed during chemical reaction. The new substances formed during chemical reactions are called products, which is always in the right hand side of the arrow mark. So what is the meaning of this arrow? That arrow indicates the direction of the reaction. The direction of the reaction is indicated by the arrow mark. Now, during the writing chemical reaction, you have to check whether the chemical reaction is complete, that means balanced or skeletal equation. So according to the law of conservation of matter, that matter cannot be created or destroyed. So the mass of the reactant always equal to the mass of the product. The mass of the reactant always equal to the mass of the product. Then only the chemical reaction is balanced. So during the chemical reaction, we are coming to know that the physical state of the substances taking part in the reactions and the products and the conditions under which the reaction taking place, all this can be learned through a chemical reaction. And also chemical reactions are always denoted by using the phases or the physical state, the S symbol for solid, L for liquid, G for gas, AQ for aqueous solution, solution in water. Then in the last session that we have discussed about types of chemical reaction, the first type, combination reaction. Combination reaction is a simple reaction, simple type of reaction, basic type of reaction. That means two or more reactant combined to form a product. Two or more reactant combined to give a single product. Single product will be formed. This is called a combination reaction. This can be illustrated using the simple alphabets like A plus B. A is one reactant, B is another reactant. These reactants are always differentiated using the plus symbol. So A plus B react to give the product of AB. Product of AB. This is simple reaction. And the combination reaction further classified into three classes. First one, element, and compound. Element react with the element to give a new compound. So this is a simple type of reaction. For example, when hydrogen react with oxygen, water is formed. Hydrogen with oxygen. So this is not in your book, but you can write. In your rough notebook, or you can note down if you have book. Combination reactions are the reactions. Element react with the element to give compound. So in your book it is given sulfur plus oxygen, sulfur dioxide. Sulfur plus oxygen, sulfur dioxide. That is one example. That is non-metal react to give non-metallic oxide. Non-metallic oxide. So here, similarly, hydrogen plus oxygen. You can write hydrogen plus oxygen gives water. Hydrogen plus oxygen. You try yourself. You can note down in your rough notebook and write in the form of first word equation. Write in the form of word equation and then convert it into formula. Then you have to balance the equation. Balance the equation. First step, write word equation. Second step, write using chemical formula. Third step, balance the equations. You have to write and practice. That is, now write, see, hydrogen plus oxygen, hydrogen plus oxygen gives water. Gives water. So what is the formula of hydrogen? H2. Then formula of oxygen, O2. Hydrogen is a gas, so you have to write in subscript G. Oxygen also gas, you have to write in the subscript G within the bracket. So gaseous hydrogen react with the gaseous oxygen to give H2O, liquid H2O. So you have to write and practice. Similarly, you can write, see one more example also you can write. Let us see, carbon plus oxygen. Carbon plus oxygen gives carbon dioxide. Carbon plus oxygen gives carbon dioxide. Carbon is solid, oxygen is gas, carbon dioxide is also gas. So write in word equation, then convert formula and check it whether the equation is balanced or not. Whether the equation is balanced or not. How to balance? You have to count the number of, you have to count and compare the number of atoms of each element. Count and compare the number of atoms of each element on the left hand side and right hand side of the arrow. And you have to check, is the number of atoms of each element the same on both the sides. The number of atoms of each element same on both the sides. If it is okay, if it is yes means, then the equation is balanced. If not, then the equation is unbalanced. That is called skeletal equation, because the mass is not the same on both the sides of the equation. Such a chemical equation is called skeletal equation. Skeletal equation. Then based on the law of conservation of mass already learned in 9th standard, mass can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. That is, the total mass of the element present in the product side has to be equal to the total mass of the element present in the reactant. Simply I can say the total mass of the reactant is equal to total mass of the product. Total mass of the reactant is equal to total mass of the product. Then only the equation is balanced. So the number of atoms of each element remains same before and after the chemical reaction. The number of atoms of each element remain same before and after the chemical reaction. So atoms are going to be rearranged to give a new product, but different atoms will not come and form product. What are the atoms in the reactant? The same atoms are going to form a new product by rearranging themselves. This is a balancing chemical equation. This already you have learned. Now, next to see that the next type of reaction, compound plus element compound. Phosphorus trichloride, chlorine gives phosphorus pentachloride. And one more class of combination reaction, compound plus compound gives compound. Two compounds combine to give another new compound. For example, silicon dioxide plus calcium oxide gives calcium silicate. gives calcium silicate. So you can write one more equation also. You take a rough notebook and write. I give word equation. You write in the form of chemical formula and balance it. Balance it. Don't see calcium oxide. Calcium oxide plus water. Calcium oxide plus water gives calcium hydroxide. Calcium oxide solid, water liquid gives calcium hydroxide aqueous solution, that is solution in water. So you have to write and check whether the equation is balanced or not. If it is not balanced, using the method it is called a trial and error method, you have to balance the equation. Now see, next we are moving to the next type of chemical reaction, which is called decomposition reaction. This is actually opposite to the combination reaction. Decomposition reaction is opposite to the combination, reverse to the combination reaction. So you have to always keep in mind what is combination reaction. Two reactant combined to give a product. Simply you have to understand two reactants combined to give a single product. That is called a combination reaction. When you go reverse to this combination, what will obtain? Let's see. That is a single compound split into two or more product. Single compound split into two or more simpler substance. That is called a decomposition reaction. So single compound, only compound is when you are going to heat, that going to give two product. That is called a decomposition reaction. A single reactant breaks down to give simpler product. A single reactant breaks down to give simpler products. So generally this type of reactions are illustrated using the same illustration what we have learned in the combination reaction. A plus B gives AB. A plus B gives AB. This is combination. Opposite to that one, that is AB gives A plus B. AB is a compound. This compound split into simpler substances like A and B. This is called a decomposition reaction. So breaking of bonds is a major phenomenon in decomposition. So decomposition means nothing but that is a splitting the a big molecule, a macro molecule into simpler one. Breaking the macro molecule into simpler. So breaking of bond is the major process taking place in the decomposition reaction. So breaking will not easily take place. The breaking of a bond means that require extra energy, that need energy. So normally these reactions need energy to be supplied for breaking of bonds. So based on this requirement of energy, we are classifying this decomposition reaction into three categories. First one, see, thermal decomposition. Thermal means what? That is a heat. Thermal power station, that's what is a heat. Thermal. So thermal decomposition means this decomposition take place only in presence of heat. This is going to absorb heat. This molecule or this compound absorb heat from the surrounding or from the external source, and decomposition take place. So this is also called another way thermolysis reaction. So next one, see, electrolytic decomposition. It requires the electrical energy for the breaking of bond. Electrical energy. Then photo decomposition. Photo means what? Photo means light. So it requires light energy. So when these compounds are exposed to sunlight, breaking of bond take place. Breaking of bond take place. So these are the three types of reaction. We are going to study one by one now. So before that, you see what is given in this do you know part. A solution of slag lime is used for whitewashing walls. A solution of slag lime, that is calcium hydroxide, which reacts slowly with the carbon dioxide in air to form a thin layer of calcium carbonate on the walls. Calcium carbonate is formed after 2 or 3 days of whitewashing and gives a shiny finish to the walls. It is interesting to note that chemical formula for marble is also calcium carbonate. So that calcium carbonate is existing in 2 or 3 form like marble, chalk, and also limestone. Limestone also calcium carbonate, chalk, calcium carbonate, marble, calcium carbonate. So different forms. So during this whitewashing what take place, this uh, uh, the painter going to dissolve calcium oxide. Calcium oxide is dissolved in water. Calcium oxide is dissolved in water, and during this dilution what take place, heat energy is evolved. That is called exothermic reaction. Exothermic reaction. And what will happen? Calcium hydroxide is formed. Calcium hydroxide is formed. And this calcium hydroxide is going to pasted on the walls. Walls. Calcium hydroxide, slag lime. And after few days only, the wall going to give a shiny white, that bright whiteness is going to appear on the walls. Not immediately after pasting the slag lime, it will not be going to bright white. After 2 or 3 days only, it going to give a bright whiteness to the wall. What is the reason? Because that calcium hydroxide, slag lime, react with the carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere. Atmosphere contain carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide contact with the calcium hydroxide. Calcium carbonate is formed. Calcium carbonate which is going to give a white brightness to the wall. Calcium carbonate is a precipitate. It is a precipitate. White precipitate will be formed. This white precipitate will be going to give brightness to the wall. This will take place after 2 or 3 days after the whitewashing. This is the reaction take place during the whitewashing. Sometime will be asked, what will the reaction take place during whitewashing? Give explain with an equation. So you have to write this equation given in the do you know part. Then next see the first type of decomposition, thermal decomposition. Already told that in this type of reaction, the reactant is decomposed by applying heat. So it need heat energy. One example is given. See, mercury 2 oxide is decomposed into mercury and oxygen. Mercury 2 oxide, HgO, that is the formula. Hg means mercury, HgO, mercury oxide, and on heating, it decomposed into mercury Hg plus oxygen O2. And see, here the molecule is dissociated because of the absorption of heat energy. So these reactions are always called, otherwise called thermolysis. Thermolysis, and it is a type of element, compound to element decomposition. Because mercury 2 oxide is a compound and it decomposed to give hydrogen, oxygen, 2 elements are formed. So this is a compound to element decomposition type of reaction. Then next type C, there is also one more example is going to see calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate. The calcium carbonate, the limestone decomposed on heating. This is not going to easily decompose. Only on heating it decomposed to give calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So calcium carbonate is a compound, and compound on heating decomposed in 2 compounds. Calcium oxide is a compound, carbon dioxide is also a compound. So this is a type of compound decomposition. But on all this reaction, heat is absorbed, so they are called thermolysis reactions or thermal decomposition reaction. So in thermal decomposition reaction, heat is applied to break the bonds. Such a reaction in which heat is absorbed are called endothermic. So this reaction, heat is taking for the breaking of bonds. So they are called the endothermic reaction. So what is called the exothermic reaction? Exothermic reaction means reactions which involve the liberation of heat. But here absorption of heat for the breaking. So they are called the endothermic reaction. The next type of reaction, see, electrolytic decomposition. So from the name itself, you have to understand electrolytic. So it required the energy of electrical energy. Electrical energy is required for the breaking of bonds. So in some of the decomposition reaction, electrical energy is used to bring about the reaction. For example, the decomposition of sodium chloride. Sodium chloride decomposed into sodium and chlorine. Sodium and chlorine. So this decomposition takes place in presence of electrical energy. So this is also termed as electrolysis reaction. Electrolysis. So sodium chloride, NaCl, sodium chloride, this will not going to decompose during the solid state. Sodium chloride means, don't think the solid sodium chloride. That is sodium chloride dissolved in water. That is aqueous solution of sodium chloride. The aqueous solution of sodium chloride, if you keep to electrode and pass electricity, what will happen? See, it's going to decompose into sodium and chlorine. Sodium solid, and this is going to be formed at the Na plus, that going to be attract to the cathode. Cl2, it's going to pass through anode. So it's going to decompose into sodium and chlorine gas. Then here sodium chloride is converted into an element sodium and chlorine. So it is a type of reaction compound to element. Sodium chloride is a compound. This compound decomposed by getting energy from the electricity and produce sodium and chlorine. Two elements are formed. Next type of reaction, photo decomposition reaction. Photo means nothing but light. So when the compound is exposed in presence of sunlight, decomposition takes place, the breaking of old bonds. The bond breaking takes place to give a new product. For example, see, the decomposition is caused by light, and this kind of reactions are called photolysis. So silver bromide, Ag means silver, Br means bromine. The compound is called silver bromide. When exposed in presence of sunlight, it decomposed into silver and bromine. Silver, which is solid, bromine is a gas. So this is what type of reaction? This is the type of reaction that is similar, that is the previous, the above example that we have learned, electrolytic decomposition, sodium chloride to sodium and chlorine. This is a compound to element decomposition. This is also compound to element decomposition. Compound of silver bromide decomposed because when it exposed in presence of sunlight, silver and bromine. So this is compound to element reaction. Then, so there are three types of decomposition reaction. Thermal decomposition, also called thermolysis. These reactions are taking place by absorbing heat energy. Endothermic reaction, an electrolytic decomposition reaction, and here electrical energy is used for the decomposition of a compound. So this is called the electrolysis. And next, see, photo decomposition reaction. Here, when the compound is exposed to sunlight, the breaking of bonds take place. So this is a photolysis reaction. This is also compound to element decomposition reaction. Compound to element. Similarly, you can write some more example also. See, you can take down for photo decomposition reaction. Photo decomposition reaction. One example I give. One more example. Silver chloride. This is a photo decomposition reaction. You can write in word equation. Silver chloride solid. Silver chloride solid in presence of sunlight. Silver plus chlorine. Products are silver plus chlorine. I repeat, silver chloride solid gives arrow mark. Above the arrow mark, light. Silver plus chlorine. Silver chloride is solid. Silver is solid. Chlorine gas. So you have to write the equation. This is completely similar to the given example in your text. Silver bromide to silver and bromine. Silver and bromine. Also, one more example you can write for thermal decomposition. Thermal decomposition also you can write one example and write and practice yourself. You can write and practice thermal decomposition. You can write word equation in your rough notebook and write into the formula, and also you have to balance the equation. Balance the equation. This is for thermal decomposition. That is write lead nitrate. Lead nitrate. Lead nitrate gives means arrow mark, gives heating. Above the arrow mark you have to write heat or triangle symbol. Triangle symbol represent arrow, that is heat is supplied. So lead nitrate gives on heating lead oxide plus nitrogen dioxide plus oxygen. So I repeat, for thermal decomposition reaction, lead nitrate on heating gives lead oxide plus nitrogen dioxide plus oxygen. So you have to write in the form of word equation. Lead nitrate. What is the form of lead nitrate? Lead that is Pb. That is lead. So nitrate, which is the radical, you have to write within the bracket nitrate NO3. So I give only the reactant, remaining you have to write Pb NO3 twice. NO3 within the bracket NO3, and close the bracket. Then you have to write as subscript 2. PbNO3 twice. PbNO3 twice. On heating, lead oxide, Pb oxide O or PbO plus, that is the formula of nitrogen dioxide, NO2. Then you know oxygen. So I give more or less. So lead nitrate PbNO3 twice. On heating, PbO plus NO2 plus oxygen. So you write and balance the equation. That is your part. Then also you can write one more example for the that is decomposition. You can write one more example for thermal decomposition. That is ferrous sulfate, FeSO4. Ferrous SO4 sulfate. FeSO4 solid. FeSO4 solid, you have to write as subscript S. On heating, ferric oxide plus sulfur dioxide plus sulfur trioxide. So I give once again, I repeat, ferrous sulfate FeSO4 solid gives on heating ferric oxide Ferric oxide formula Fe2O3. Fe2O3 solid. Then two gases are formed plus sulfur dioxide gas plus sulfur trioxide gas. So you write in word equation and balance it. Write in word equation and balance it. So my dear students, now we have discussed about decomposition reaction. Decomposition means nothing but a single compound split into two or more simpler substance. A single reactant breaks down to give simpler product. A single reactant. This is a completely opposite to the combination reaction. And see, in the decomposition, breaking of bond take place. There is the major phenomenon taking place in the decomposition reaction. So based on the requirement of energy to break the bond, we are classifying into three categories: thermal decomposition, electrolytic decomposition, photo decomposition. Thermal means by absorbing heat, decomposition takes place. Electrolytic means by absorbing electrical energy and decomposition takes place. Photo decomposition means by absorbing energy from sunlight and decomposition takes place. And you have to go through this. I also give some examples to write and practice. You have to write and practice. Check yourself whether you know to balance the equation or not, and revise up to finish. See, next type of reaction, that is single displacement reaction, that we will see in the next class. Single displacement, that you will see in the next session. So till you have to practice, see, equations will be learned only by regular practice. So to write equation, I already told, you should know the name of the reactant and name of the product. Name of the reactant, name of the product. And secondly, you should know their chemical formula. Chemical formula of the reactant, chemical formula of the product. And thirdly, you should know balancing. How to balance the atoms of the reactant. The number of atoms of the reactant should be same on the number of atoms of the product. Only rearrangement take place. No new atoms are going to be included in the product, according to the law of conservation of mass. You have to practice yourself. And my dear students, see, I already told in the beginning of the class that Sunday you will have a test, one more objective test, Unit-8, periodic classification of elements. Unit-8, periodic classification of elements, Sunday morning 8 to 9. Only half an hour is enough to complete the test, because it's a 25 question objective test only given, and you have to get ready with your device. Don't give reasons net card is not there in the device. You get ready with your device, and you have to attend the test sincerely. And these marks are, we are noting down in the register. So you have to take part in the test. All should take part in the test, and you have to give correct answer. Try to give correct answer. Learn the periodic classification, all the textbook evaluation objective also inside the lesson. Also you have to revise and write test. All should write test. These marks are noted in the register, and will be after that when school reopen, we will going to put rank for all these marks also. So you have to prepare well and write. Don't take it lethargically. Take it seriously and do it. And we will see in the next class. Wish you all the best. God bless you. Thank you.